All righty, there we go. Welcome one and welcome all to the one, the only Junk Shop Library channel, home of so many different series. What is today? Thursday. We're doing Mental Health Thursdays today. Completely blanked for a moment there. Thank you all so much for joining me, whether you're watching this in the present or in the future. If from the future, cheers. How goes the future? It's just coffee. All righty. Before anything else, I must point out that this show and the many others on this channel would literally not be possible at this point were it not for the Patreon support we get from the folks whose names are scrolling below. The combination of financial aid and moral support they give to the channel through patreon.com/junkshoplibrary for as little as $1 a month makes literally all the difference. It was due to them that we were able to upgrade the light and the sound and camera. It was due to them that we were able to upgrade to the unlimited streaming version of StreamYard. Check that out. You get to see 2 versions of my beautiful face all on the screen at the same damn time. And allows us that allows us to do things like add a study of the Book of Mormon in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday because old Junk Shop got bored and didn't have anything better to do with their time. And it was due to their contributions and to those of an anonymous benefactor who wishes to remain anonymous that we were able to get the new computer that allows us to stream largely Junk Shoppy free. Thank you all so very much. In a special and particular, I got to shout out my top 2 tiers worth of patrons, my illuminated manuscript Captain Kimothy and my genuine calfskin level patrons Bill and the one and only Mr. Paul Camish. These folks have gone well far above and beyond in their support of the channel, and it makes a tremendous, tremendous difference. Thank you so very, very much. All righty. I hope y'all will pardon me for going full-on Bernie Sanders today and just dressing how I felt comfortable. Figure if Bernie could do it to the goddamn inauguration, I can do it to Mental Health Thursday. But it was either shave or dress up, and I opted for shave, though seems I should have done so in a little less of a hurry because I looked like I did it with a piece of broken glass. Time to retire that particular razor, it looks like. Goddamn. Okay, so that aside, because that's not what we're here for, Junk Shop's grooming tips, that's an entirely different corner of YouTube, which I personally do not frequent. Thank you for coming today. The United States has survived with a peaceful transition of power into the Biden-Harris administration. The Junk Shop Library channel has survived an 11th hour drunken ramble about the greatness and strength and resilience of the United States. We're all still here. Hallelujah. Except, of course, for the folks who are not. We'll get this goddamn vaccine out one of these days. Okay, so Mental Health Thursdays. I just cannot get enough coffee in me today, y'all. Pardon my various coffee-related sounds and sighs. I'm going to talk a little bit about something that a lot of y'all already know quite well, and some of y'all better than I. which is a I'm looking for a better word than phenomenon. Concept seems a little bit abstract, but it's somewhere between the two. In mental health and mental health care and mental health maintenance and other various kinds of chronic illness and chronic illness maintenance. It's a thing referred to as spoon theory. I came up with the subject for this title at a little bit of the last minute. Those of you who got your notifications on know that, because this the link to this stream just went live something like, what was it, 20 minutes ago? Professionalism. Expect nothing less. Words of my life. What's CQ, my love?
I'm sorry. That little black box over there. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Sorry, guys. That was entirely my fault.
All right. Anyway, the concept for the stream came to me really and truly at the last minute, and so I didn't have time to do my research. I've got to run to ground the original article about spoon theory. Unless one of y'all in the chat happens to already know it, in which case you can go ahead and drop the link, and everybody can open it in other tabs, please. No such thing as enough coffee. Indeed. Indeed, Ed, indeed. All right. But the gist of the article in which this originally was posited, expressed, vocalized, put out there, was that two friends, one with and one without chronic illness, were talking in a, I want to say a diner or a restaurant, something of that nature. And the friend with chronic illness, and the woman's name I cannot for the life of me remember. Again, I'll run the link to ground and put it in the description after the fact. Was trying to explain the just the sort of wear and tear that chronic illness of any kind can take on your mental state, your emotional reserves, your what have you. And what came to her was pretty genius, actually. She grabbed up all the spoons, the literal, like eat cereal with, eat soup with, silverware spoons that she could reach, and said, okay, here's the deal. You start off your day with X number of spoons, for the sake of example. What's the first thing you do in the morning? And the person without chronic illness says, well, I get dressed, I brush my teeth, I get ready for work. No. Says, here's how it goes, says the person with chronic illness. Each thing you do requires the expenditure of a certain amount of both physical and psychological effort. And we'll represent that with a spoon, represented here by a Sharpie, because I didn't think and didn't bring didn't bring silverware in for props. So we're going to pretend that these are spoons. That's a lot of black Sharpies. I didn't realize I had that many to handle. It's okay. Junk Shop Library, keeping Office Max in business since about 1997. All right. So first, you got to get out of bed. That's one spoon that you burned right there. You got to physically and emotionally get out of bed, feet hit the floor, stand upright. Okay, that's one. Then you gotta say, take a shower. Okay, now that takes time, that takes effort, that takes concentration. You gotta stand there, you gotta do that, you gotta get clean. Maybe you have to shave something or other. You got to balance on wet floor as you get out. You know, it's that's a whole catalog of stuff. You've used up another of your spoons. Now you got to get ready for work. Okay? So you got to make sure you got everything. You got to make sure you took all your medicine. You got to make sure you got your keys. You got to make sure you're appropriately dressed. You got to make sure you're safe to drive. You got to make sure that's a lot of stuff gets into get ready to go to work. You're down an absolute bare minimum of 3 of your spoons. You ain't unlocked the door to leave the house yet. Y'all smart people, y'all can extrapolate. I don't have to go through the whole day. Well, having just come up with this idea on really the spur of the moment for this, what would this be? This would be a metaphor, yes? The lady wrote an article about it on gosh, I want to say it was on her blog. Well, it took off, caught on like wildfire. Spoon theory is now excuse me, I am sick. I got all tangled up in myself. I am now sitting on my scarf and I can't move. There we go. Okay, my organized self together here. Figure out how to sit in a chair. There goes one. Yes, the biggest thing is your mindset, says Mark in the chat. Rationing your spoons is easy. Being happy with it, that's harder. I had, I'll be honest, an easier time of it getting my feet under me today than I did yesterday. And certainly yesterday than the day before that. Because it's not just internal stuff that can drain your spoons. If you're worried about stuff constantly, worry will drain your spoons, because that is a process that you are constantly doing. It's not just that you pay the toll to get on the worry road and off you go. Worry is something that's always going on in your mind. And worry will drain your spoons even if you're not thinking about anything else, if you're not doing anything else. Now you got to go to bed. because you just don't damn got the spoons. Do anything else. I spent a grand total of cumulatively about 3 of about the last 5 days just in bed. I largely got up to have my coffee, try to remember to put on a nicotine patch, because I'm trying to quit smoking. Had two cigarettes in the last 2 weeks. Not too shabby. I do say so myself. But there's been a lot bouncing around old junk shop mind. Been unemployed for a long damn time, which is wearing and worrying. We had the whole moving situation recently. I may have to do it again soon. We don't know. Which has been wearing and worrying. I've got my anxiety, I've got my depression, I've got my panic attacks, and I've got my IBS. All of which take a toll, physically and emotionally. It's a lot of constant drain on the spoon reserve. There's fear about the pandemic, which continues to grow and to mutate and to develop in new and exciting ways and to kill people right, left, and sideways all the damn time. Still a lot of people not taking it serious. It's alarming the number of people walking around without their damn mask on, or with their mask on like this, or like this, or my personal favorite, like this. And then there's been spending most of any given day, at least slightly, a little bit, way back in the back of your mind, worried about what that fucking idiot in the Oval Office is going to do now, or has done since the last time you refreshed your news feed. Breathed a little bit easier. At 49 after the hour on the 20th, I must admit. I'm no Biden stan. He was not my first choice, nor my second. But the man's the president now. And I'm not scared of him starting a war because he's got beef with somebody from reality TV. That's a lot. That's a load off my mind. I will not lie. One of those things that I hadn't realized how wearing it was until it wasn't wearing on me no more. Like having this goddamn tooth out. Hadn't realized how wearing being in that constant pain was until the source of that constant pain was gone. It's like once I finally got on the right antidepressant. Combination of antidepressants, I should say. Hadn't realized how wearing, how draining, how goddamn bloody tedious the level of active depression was I'd been dealing with. until I was finally on stuff that effectively combated it. Same with the anti-anxietyant, and the same with the mood stabilizer. These are all good things for me. They don't work for everybody, and the particular ones that I'm on don't work for everybody, just like some of the ones I tried before turned out not to be a good fit for me, because everybody's different. But the medical professionals in my life finally came up with the right combination. They ain't make it all go away. I've still got an interesting little circus going on in the old brain pan. But it's a largely manageable circus. I'm not expending constantly from my supply of spoons just to stay upright long enough to go downstairs and brew coffee. God damn it. Yes, medication roller coaster is always challenging. It does take, yes, Lisa, it took a long time for me as well to get on. It took, it was either right around 1 year or 2, and I don't honestly remember which it took for my shrink and my GP and I to working in concert to figure out the right balance of the right things. Picking up your antidepressants for the first time. Nice. That's that was quite scary for me the first time that was a terrifying goddamn process. I myself had been raised in an environment that that didn't overly encourage the open discussion of some particular emotional states. And I'm not real comfortable about talking about my emotional states with total strangers anyway. That's one of the reasons I do this. Trying to do my part to contribute to ending the stigma. And this is also it's good for me, I have found. I hope it's good for y'all as well. You keep coming back. It can't be my boundless charm. Or can it? So, one major source of drain on my my supply of spoons is gone, and that's the orange menace. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still burning them off. Some days more than others. I'm going to be using a couple extra ones later today because I've got to get out and go to the laundromat. Got to. Must. Not want. Must. Anybody ever see M? Who was that? Was that Fritz Lang directed that? Tangent. A tangent here? Nay. I have found the spoon theory metaphor. I've found it helpful since a friend of mine introduced me to it. It's sort of helped put a does concretize, is concretize a word? To make concrete, though abstractly. So I don't know. It helps me to have names for things, labels to put on things. And I found out that I actually was depressed, that I had an anxiety disorder. That helped me deal with the vagaries of my emotional life. Just being able to point at it and say, aha, that is an anxiety. I see you. I know you. I acknowledge your presence. Now, I banish you. The power of my oxcarbazepine. I think that's how you pronounce it. Concretize. It is a word. Okay. Thank you, Ox. Just for helping out with that, I'll touch up my nails later. Quid pro quo. It also makes for great marital shorthand. Exactly. And if you're talking with people who understand spoon theory, whether they be chronically ill in body, in mind, or both, it's right. I think as many people as possible should be aware of it, just so that you don't have to sit down and explain. You know, those of us who deal with chronic health conditions, whatever kinds, we don't have to say, okay. I'm sorry, I'm stalling. The only examples I can think of are like going out to meet at a bar tonight, going to book club, things we can't do anymore because of the lagerlurgy, as Preeti Blinder calls it. If you can just say, dude, I'm sorry, I don't have the spoons. There, done. One sentence. Over. Explained, resolved, acknowledged, kaboom. Good question in the chat. What's the difference between chronic and acute? At least in my layman's understanding of the use of the term regarding the use of those terms as regards illness, a chronic condition is one that goes over a significant amount of time. Whereas an acute condition comes on sudden and compared to a chronic condition goes away either through treatment or through just natural resolution. Fast. For example, there's no such thing as chronic appendicitis. It comes on sudden. You either manage to get it diagnosed and get the thing out, or you die. You know. Whereas, for example, IBS, you're just essentially stuck with. They still hadn't even figured out what thing or things cause it. Or, as Ox managed to put it in the course of 6 words, where I used about 600, acute is fast, chronic is slow. Yeah, see, maybe you ought to be running this thing. Y'all wouldn't recognize me if I wasn't made up of about half tangent and 3/4 blather. There's a reason it's not called scripted Bible study, and that's what got half y'all on board to begin with. Okay, so it's called a permanent, yes, permanently effed up. Yes, that's a good way. It's a good way to put chronic condition. Have I just been preaching to the choir this whole time? Everybody already know what is spoon theory? Let me know in the chat. Is there a reason? Oh, the nail pot. No, I just like it. If you didn't already know about, and a couple of folks are letting me know already in the chat, didn't know what it was. If this is your first exposure to spoon theory, let me know in the chat if you're live. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching in the future. And if you found my long rambling explanation helpful, and y'all keep me honest, make sure I remember. I'll try to remember to look up the original article and link it in the description as soon as we're done here. There was something else I was going to say, but I don't remember what it is, what it was, what it could possibly have been. Now I'm going to be thinking about spoon theory every time I use a Sharpie from now on. This may be a short episode. Not real. I don't see any need to prolong this any great further. Any great further? The hell. So unless we've questions, comment, concerns, considerations, input. live in the chat. I think we'll probably wrap it up here in just a couple of minutes. I'll stall here for a second while I wait for StreamYard to get around to feeding the chat through to me. Y'all know how it is. We usually try to keep Mental Health Thursdays around, you know, the 40-45 minute mark, and not much longer anyway, especially when it's just me sitting here talking on, just off the cuff, off the cuff and impromptu. I can talk, I promise. Let's see. Damn it! It was right. Ooh, it was one of those butterfly thoughts. It was right. It was on the tip of my brain, and I went to grab it, and whoosh, away it went, off down the wind. Yeah, a lot of people commiserating over various conditions in the chat, especially back issues. I have had a couple of back problems in my time. Thankfully, nothing chronic, but I've pulled muscles in my back, or had just plain back weirdness. Y'all know how that can be. I'm sure sometimes your back just decides it's had enough and it's going on vacation and will not be used. Knees are also, ugh. When your knees decide to act up, I keep sliding down and cutting my head off with my endostigma banner. I'm sorry. I hope it's not too distracting me constantly bobbling back and forth and making my chair squeak as I adjust. As always, if you've got suggestions or questions that you'd like to see addressed on Mental Health Thursdays in the future, let me know. The comments below, DMs on the various medias, social, what have you. I gotta stop grabbing this. Gotta stop trying to grab this thought. If it's important, it'll land, and I'll say it somewhere else later. We're all human. Yes, says Mark. We wear out after a while. Yes, we can thank obligate bipedalism. Bipedalism, that's one of those words I'm not sure I've ever heard said out loud before. Like Garrison Keillor and his Egyptian mummy. Yeah, so let me know if you've got ideas for topics or questions for Mental Health Thursday in the future, or if you'd like to come on for an interview or conversation on Mental Health Thursdays. I've done that a couple of times before. That's always been great fun. I've got feelers out to some folks who are going to guest on the channel in future. Wait till Ox says, wait till you get older when you go to do the simplest task. Your body says, F you ain't young no more. Before you even try the task. Not as young as I look. Wild Eden is here just as we wrap up. Sorry, my friend. I'm pushing the end of my on-topic improv skills right now. Have to go back to the beginning. Or join us tomorrow. We will have a show tomorrow. We will have improv Bible study tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, same time as today if you're watching live. And then Saturday at what the hell time do I 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 my time, 6:30 Eastern. I can do this. It's just 1 hour off. God damn it! It's just one time zone. Shit. 6:30 in the evening Eastern Standard Time. We'll have the Book of Mormon study, which we were toying with the idea of expanding to more than one day a week, but hadn't gotten a lot of that hadn't seemed to gather a lot of momentum behind it. So for now, we're just going to keep it Saturdays only. Overcoming addiction. That's a good, yeah. That'd be a good topic for a mental health Thursday. Out of improv and out of coffee at exactly the same time. It was meant to be. All right. Well, if you stuck around this long, you're likely subscribed already. But if you're not, if this is your first exposure to the Junk Shop Library channel, hit that subscribe button. I see the numbers slowly creeping up. We are gaining ground. We are indeed. The library family grows, and I love seeing it happen. If you are a patron, I'm gonna do my gosh darndest to actually have the Saturday stream this week. But regardless, we do have the hard commitment of the noon o'clock Eastern Catechism stream on Sunday for our patrons only. The link to that should be up live within the next day or so. And we'll start talking a whole new sacrament. We're finally done talking about penance. All right. Well, again, thank you all for coming. Appreciate y'all being here, sticking around, always coming back. Damn it. Almost had it. I give up. That thought ain't never going to land long enough for me to grab it. All right. We'll see y'all again soon. And as we always say before we head out of here, y'all take care. Everybody be safe. And stand against hate. See y'all again. Bye now.